Do you currently have a budget? If the answer is yes, how confidently do you feel that you are doing it right? These kinds of questions only tend to come up because many people aren't truly budgeting the right way, and it may mean that all their hard work is for nothing. There's a huge amount of importance to having a budget and sticking to it today, especially when the market has shown such significant fluctuations in the last couple years. Having a budget is all about protecting yourself and making sure that you are financially secure even when making important spending decisions. That's why today we are going to dive deeper into how important budgeting is and how to make sticking to one easier. Number 1, it gives you peace. When most people think of budgeting, they can often associate it with things like being tied down or handcuffed. This is because people don't like to feel constrained, and they don't like to have to follow orders that aren't their own. Getting rid of this kind of thinking is absolutely key to being able to budget though, and it will make things a whole lot easier. If you struggle with financial responsibility, don't think of budgeting as a sort of harness that constricts you and limits your options, but instead as a sort of safety net to catch you when you fall. The truth is that being good with money comes with time, patience, and most importantly, experience. Most people don't do well with money right out the gates, and it can take a couple years to really get the hang of it. Establishing a budget early on, though, can save you from getting dinged during that learning period and will help your credit score too by making sure you make every payment on time. Number 2, budgeting can provide structure. When we are children, we listen to our parents talk about the importance of money and roll our eyes. But as we get older, we begin to realize that our parents were just trying to give us good advice the whole time. Nobody really wants to admit it, but a little bit of structure every now and then can be a really good thing and save us a lot of stress and worry. When we are kids, our parents provide that foundation, and they more or less control a lot of the money you have, but as you get older, it's all up to you. This can be scary for people, and it's why budgeting can be a great tool. It serves as an added layer of defense against the unexpected, and it also gives you some guidance. As adults, we may feel like we know everything, but having a tool to help us stay on track and focus on more important things is an absolutely great thing to have. Number 3, it can help you stay focused on your goals. When your budget tells you that you can't afford something, it can be pretty frustrating, but it's just the truth. Budgeting is a way to stay focused on the important things and to keep your eye on the prize, so to speak. If all year you are budgeting for a new computer or a car, but you are always spending that money on snacks, then you are never going to achieve your objective. It's pretty easy to become stagnant when this kind of thing happens, and that is a very scary possibility if you are trying to gain wealth. Sticking to your budget is one of the most important things you could do to gain money, and it is very hard to get rich if you constantly spend more than you have. Keeping your eyes on your goals is a really great part of budgeting, and it can help you keep things in perspective so you don't spend your money on short-term purchases all the time. Number 4, you'll only spend the money you have. Debt is not fun, and neither is getting dinged on your credit score because of credit card withdrawals. Knowing how much money you have in your account, the amount you spend on expenses every month, and how much you have left over can help keep you out of this danger, but you're going to need to properly budget too. You never really want to spend money that you don't have, even if you know you can pay it back later, as credit card companies can be pretty sneaky in how they choose to reprimand you. Credit card debt is a massive issue, especially in the Western world, where it is estimated the average amount of credit card debt is over $5,000. This kind of figure indicates that many people are spending money they don't have on a regular basis, and it's only a matter of time before it starts to catch up to them. Having a bad credit score can make your life a lot harder, and it's way easier to just construct a proper budget and stick to it instead. Number 5, the road to retirement. We'll get to that in a second. I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. When you are young, retirement is the last thing on your mind, as you are too worried about living your life to think that far ahead. As you get older though, the thought of retirement becomes a much more refreshing idea. And for some people, it's their main reason to get through the day. World events have shifted the idea of retirement slightly though, and full retirement is no longer the guarantee that it once was. These days, if you want to call it a career early, you are going to have to start saving money responsibly pretty early on if you want to achieve your goal. Budgeting is obviously a big help here, and you can even add in a retirement savings fund into your weekly or monthly budget in order to stay on top of things. It doesn't even have to be that much at first, but getting into the habit of sending money into savings is a great thing to get used to and will help ensure a happy retirement down the line. Number 6, you can take more risks. Let's say you trade stocks or are an investor. Your whole life revolves around money and being able to personally pay to be involved with great money, making opportunities. The problem is, of course, that many of us spend money outside of our career that can get in the way of that kind of life. The better you are at controlling your expenses, though, the more opportunities you're going to be able to take part in. Budgets and risks wouldn't seem like they would be so closely connected, but the truth is that you can budget for anything, including financial investment. Even if you feel like you're doing pretty well financially, if there's even a chance you are letting opportunities slip through your fingers, then you have to do your due diligence first. You would be surprised where your money gets tied up when you take a closer look. Number 7, make it your own. One of the best pieces of advice anyone can give for a budget is to make it your own. Budgets can seem uninteresting on the surface, but you only really get out what you are putting in. If you want to create a budget in order to take more trips, you definitely can add in a savings fund for that purpose. If you want to be more aggressive with your money this upcoming year, you can also configure it in that way too. Making a budget should be a personal experience, and it is also something that will morph and change as you continue to do it. Once you get past that initial apathy towards budgeting, you should start to see the true value in it and appreciate it a whole lot more. There are a lot of very successful people out there that treat their budget like a Bible, and it definitely can be an invaluable resource if you put the work in. Number 8, it reveals your mistakes. We all make mistakes, and almost everyone would rather figure it out for themselves rather than have it explained to them by a stranger. If you have bad spending habits or make truly confusing investments, then your budget will express that pretty clearly. Some people can actually have a hard time budgeting because they feel so guilty looking at the expenses, but it's very much worth that uncomfortable moment for a lifetime of financial blessings. Budgeting is going to shine the light on what you're doing right, but more importantly, what you are doing wrong. While this may not seem like the most fun time in the world, and for some, it really isn't, in the end, you are going to have a clearer head and a better understanding of what you need to improve on. Nobody is perfect, and we all have things we excel at and things that just don't come as naturally. If money stuff isn't your strong suit, don't worry about it too much, as a proper budget can completely turn the tide on things for good. Number 9, budgeting makes emergencies bearable. Who actually expects the unexpected? It can be really hard to try and do the right thing when money is tight, or when you have a hole burning in your pocket. We all have a hard time putting money away, as it isn't something that comes naturally. One of the things you need to be saving money for is an emergency fund, as you never know when something may happen. In the event of an emergency, the value of money plummets, and you will do anything to get out of the situation safely. Once you emerge from that situation, however, the last thing you want to go back to is an empty bank account and a stack of bills. This can kill your credit score and is incredibly frustrating because it wasn't really your fault. Still though, that is a tough thing to explain to your bank. And so keeping some cash ready in the case of an emergency could save you that less than fun outcome. Number 10, budgeting brings out your best self. The version of you armed with a solid budget is a heck of a lot stronger than the version of you struggling to make ends meet. A person that budget doesn't lose sleep over money, and they don't really have any reason to worry about it. Budgeters can often appear laid back or carefree, and it's all because they don't have to ever worry about money again. But the journey doesn't end here. If you're ready to start improving your financial well-being, take action now. Check the first link in the description for our Frugal Living ebook. It's never too late to start making smart financial decisions.